Hello, District 205. I'm Dave Beatty, the Director of STEM Education. Welcome to the Deep End, a practical look at math in District 205. I'm committed to making a video a month to help support you, our teachers, with strategies for you to use to improve your students' math learning. Do you sometimes feel underwater in the new curriculum materials? Do you wonder what Rigor Relevance has anything to do with math? Do you feel like you're struggling to keep your head above water? Well, you're not alone. I hope that this video series will help you learn to swim with our overarching math goals using our Eureka materials and other supporting resources. Speaking of our overarching math goals, the first one is to make sense of never-before-seen messy problems and persevere in solving them. The second is to create viable arguments using mathematics and statistics and critique the reasoning of others. These two goals together are the targets we have for each and every child under our care in District 205. Every student will become proficient in these two areas by graduation. Let's keep these in the back of our mind as we take a deeper dive. This is the Rigor Relevance Matrix. It's a way for us to mentally model what the most empowering and impactful learning looks like in our classrooms. We want to move our kids' thinking and work to Quad D as much as we can because that is how deep and resilient learning takes place. Working Quad D is non-routine. The horizontal action or application axis. Work that uses real-world and unpredictable contexts will qualify for levels 4 and 5 on this axis, moving into Quad D. Think about a project that allows a student to play the role of an architect or doctor. Students must apply content knowledge to a real-world context in novel ways. Work in Quad D also pushes thinking into DOK 3 and 4, sometimes called the vertical thinking axis. You can use Bloom's taxonomy or depth of knowledge to represent the thinking axis. Work in Quad D requires students to analyze, synthesize, evaluate, and/or create knowledge. Imagine an architect creating a scale drawing for their next project, a home for a specific customer with special needs or tastes that call for creative design. For example, a home for a person confined to a wheelchair. What would the constraints be? What are some real examples? What specific concerns does the client have? We want our students' mathematics learning to be in Quad D as much as possible, where students are thinking deeply in actionable contexts. This is the kind of thinking they'll be doing in their lives after school, after all. We love sports metaphors in education, right? So let's think about the Rigor Relevance Matrix in terms of basketball. Quad A is low thinking and low action. Something like memorizing rules and vocabulary, knowing basic concepts, skills practiced in very routine situations, dribbling the ball while standing still, dribbling the ball while walking or running in a straight line. Those might qualify as Quad A work. Quad B is low thinking, but high action. Skills practiced in non-routine situations might qualify. Dribbling the ball while being guarded by a teammate, shooting the ball while being guarded, passing the ball to a guarded teammate. Basic skills, but we're doing them in non-routine situations. Quad C is high thinking, but low action. So maybe applying concepts to a routine situation, like using a diagram of a court and players to infer the next play, explaining why a particular pass was stolen after watching a demonstration by the coach and what the player could have done to prevent it. Those might qualify as Quad C activities. Quad D is high thinking and high action, playing and reflecting on your game of basketball. During a game, a player must apply the basic skills to non-routine situations. They must decide to shoot, dribble, or pass using all the information that's flooding their senses. They use their skill and knowledge from the other quads to improve their performance in D. How about math? Here's an example item from Enrich Math, one of the more popular resources for challenging problems. In this example, students work out what proportion of the image is colored blue, and then try to provide a convincing explanation that their answer is correct. Where would you put it on the Rigor Relevance Matrix, and why? Pause the video and decide. The problem requires some pretty challenging thinking. Students have to be creative. There's many ways to solve this problem, but only one correct solution to the question. The problem does not have an explicit real-world context, which limits its placement along the action axis. I'd place this activity in Quad C. What would move it to quad D? How about a real-world context? What if the question was reframed in the architectural context we saw before? Your client asks that no more than 50% of the house, but no less than 40% of the house is outfitted with hardwood floors based on her budget. She wants multiple rooms with wood floors and insists the main bedroom have a wooden floor. What's the maximum number of rooms she could have with hardwood floors but still remain in her budget? We still need to apply the concept of proportion. There are multiple ways to approach the problem. Students need to analyze the situation to devise a solution path that will work for them. There's a real-world context. I'd put this activity in quad D. We are incorporating more and more rich and challenging problems into our classrooms using Eureka, U-Cubed, Enriched Math, Illustrative Math, and others. There are a lot of high ceiling, low floor tasks out there, and many of them are free and aligned to our standards. Feel free to let students spend time on these tasks. They will help students learn our standards deeply and in engaging and relevant ways. As we get better at pacing Eureka and spending less time on less important standards, we will find the time we need to spend on these tasks. When we push thinking and action to high levels, we get quad D. Think real world and non-routine on the action axis, and synthesis, analysis, evaluation, and creation of knowledge on the thinking axis. And it all ties back into our overarching goals of making sense of never before seen messy problems and persevering in solving them. Never before seen messy problems, that sounds just like real world context to me. Constructing viable arguments involving math and statistics and critiquing the reasoning of others, you've got to do a lot of thinking to make that happen. In the next episode, we're going to talk about rigor traps. I'll explain what rigor traps are next time.